So somebody broke in and stole our event trailer. Welcome back to episode 4 of the Absolutely Ridiculous Show. We had a crazy week this week, so we'll just get straight into it. A post that was on Tuesday. So somebody broke in to our parking lot that was not fenced or anything, so it was a pretty easy swoop, and stole our event trailer that was just in Arizona, and it's going around to different tournaments and all this stuff, which was a super big bummer because we started looking into, can we get another trailer made? It was going to be a long time before we could get a new trailer made. And it kind of kicked off this whole saga of a day. It was like 3 a.m. The cameras caught people coming in. And by like 3:34, they came back, pulled up, broke off all the locks on the trailer, and pulled away with it. And then within a few hours after that, we hear from a guy who also had his trailer stolen this last weekend, and he was in the news. And it turns out that he got his trailer back, but they stole like $70-something thousand of equipment. Basically stole his whole small business in Nashville. So he's been trying to get back his stuff, I'll say. So he had some leads, he had some ins. He was playing detective, and the dude kicked ass. Long story short, few guys in our team took them on themselves once we got some leads on where this trailer was after we thought it was gone. We get some pictures. This thing's painted fully black now. And turns out it was like actually a kind of criminal organization that's stealing trailers around Nashville and flipping them for profit. But the guys went on a stakeout, waited a few hours for the police to arrive. It took calling a former Secret Service member to call the chief of police to get police to come out and help. But we're super thankful for the officers that showed up. We did get the trailer back, and I think it would be fun eventually to have the guys that went through this whole ordeal to come in one of these days and talk about it on the show. But it just happened last night. So we'll give it a little time before we have the bigger conversation.
It's not an April Fool's prank.
Yeah. So that was
couldn't have come at a worse time.
Well, Vinny, on our marketing manager, comes in and goes, dude, I thought, he was this isn't an April Fool's prank. I thought it was an April Fool's prank. I go, no, it's not. That's why I was putting in my message, not an April Fool's prank at the top. And he goes, well, everybody's going to think that it's an April Fool's prank. Can we please not post it today and wait to post it tomorrow so people take it serious? Problem is, you wait to post it tomorrow, that trailer's gone. If the police wouldn't have showed up 5 minutes, if they would have showed up 5 minutes later, the trailer would have been gone. It would have been off the property. And because right when they were showing up, people were pulling up to hitch the trailer up to a truck and take it somewhere else. So it was within 5 minutes of us probably never seeing the trailer again. So if you guys get something stolen, work your asses off that day. Don't wait 24 hours because they painted it within a few hours of stealing it totally black. And who knows what else they would have done with a full day. But yeah, we posted it. Luckily, hardly anybody thought it was an April Fool's joke. And that's probably our highest engagement we've seen on a post that wasn't a giveaway. So it was really cool to see the community, not just Nashville and not just our online, but both. We saw Nashville come together with Reddit threads being posted and social media and Facebook and all these different groups on Facebook, people were sharing it. Then we had our actual community, all of you guys sharing it in different states. I saw shares in Mississippi and in Florida and in Texas and People sending out messages saying they're letting their local DMV know. One person worked at the DMV and said that she was going to keep an eye out. So it was just really cool. So appreciate you guys so much for stepping up and helping out. And I don't know, that was that. Figured we needed to cover that this week since that's very top of mind. So next thing, we can get into the episode, which is some of the opening day flavors. Last week was opening day in Major League Baseball, and we had a lot of new players wearing the gear that you didn't even know were wearing our gear probably. We still haven't done full announcements, but I guess this will be the first official announcement before we do an Instagram post on some of the guys. Starting off with the defending World Series champs, Blake Snell, the opening day starter for the Dodgers. He wore the Zilla belt in Dodger blue this year. So similar style to what he wore last year, where he threw the no-hitter. Was it a no-hitter or perfect game that he threw last year? No-hitter, right?
No-hitter.
And so same design, but all blue. We have another one that we're working on for him right now too. That'll probably get somewhere around All-Star break in the Zilla theme, which I love this. I love this theme that he has. We do a cutout that looks like a gash on the side of it, and it's a crocodile, kind of Godzilla skin to it. And in the gash, it says Zilla. But that was his opening day piece. Jazz got to debut the One Piece collection that we've been talking about for a while, and had an insane opening series. Yankees broke the record for most home runs on an opening series. And I saw something where the Yankees old announcer had been there for how many years? I forget how many years he was there with the Yankees, but he never saw that many home runs get hit in a game. But Jazz wore the Rockstar glove in his debut. He also just got a new glove that he started wearing yesterday and started breaking in his push and pee for Jackie Robinson Day as well. And he had the Navy Yankee Arches belt on, wore the hand guard, leg guard, sliding mitt, and elbow guard of One Piece. Then moving to Ellie De La Cruz. Ellie had the Miami Ice belt, which is mint and pink. Same belt that he had last year. But then he broke out on opening day the gingerbread sliding mitt, which is the all tan with the Gingy face frosting put on it. And then he also had the pizza sliding mitt. I believe he had the Miami Ice leg guards, didn't he?
Opening day, he had gingerbread,
He wore
elbow
gingerbread?
and leg.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So opening day, he had gingerbread and busted out the Miami Ice the next day. Luke Weaver wore the Navy Bible glove and a custom Navy belt. Both of those we'll share a little bit more on, but Luke's got 2 gloves rolling out this year too. He'll start debuting those probably in April. Bryce Harper debuted with the Apollo 11 leg guard, the Apollo 11 sliding mitt, and he had a custom red belt in Philly colorways for him. The Apollo 11 set is the Kevlar set that's paying tribute to the moon landing. It's got a USA flag across the shin, and just the materials and the attention to detail in that one are one of my favorites. Ben Joyce wore the black Bible glove, and so Ben is one of our newest glove guys. He's got one of the most exciting glove collabs that we've ever done. I'm hoping we see that here in the next couple of months as well, but that'll be a really fun one to share the story of once he gets his first custom piece, and that'll be rolled out as well as a piece that you guys can buy. And then Michael Harris, custom Navy protective set, and a custom red belt. And then also opening weekend, he wore his new Money Mike set, which has the straps that say Money Mike on it and kind of the $ money fonts, and in this green money with dollar bills on it. So it's a pretty clean and on-brand piece for Mike. His belt was navy and red, and has a cutout gash on it that has a $100 bill showing through, which is really clean too. It's one of my favorite belts, if not my favorite belt we've ever made, just aesthetically, with the colors and all that. So, but we'd love to see what are some of your favorite pieces that you guys have seen so far this season? Are there any that you've noticed that we haven't released like that Money Mike set? Or is there anything that you think that somebody's going to wear this year that you haven't seen? Would love to hear some of your feedback on player gear. But then getting into the next topic of Clemson. So this is kind of fun. And not this first part. They lost 18-2 to Georgia Tech in game 1 of a doubleheader. But after that game, the Georgia Tech fans were on the players pretty heavy. And it was telling them to take their ice cream gloves home. They were yelling some slurs at them. And the Clemson players kind of took it as a badge of honor, which was really cool to hear. Because they came back, they won game 2 of the doubleheader, but the players were seeing that as like they're not getting called out for stuff like that unless 2 things: they're good and they have something noticeable. Because at the same time, what some of the guys on the team were saying and some of the coaching staff were that when players would get to second base, get to third base, the middle infielders were coming up and asking about their sliding mitts and asking to see them. And they've said that this has been a consistent thing with every team they play against, that players on the opposing teams are super, super interested in the gear that they have. And they seem pretty proud of it. And I wanted to use this as an opener into a DM that I got this last week. And it's not the first one. It's one of many. But I figure this is a good time to like start talking about this type of stuff. I won't say a name, but I'm assuming that he was a dad because there's a picture of him and his kid was his like bio. But he sent a DM and said, quote unquote, "Jazz is an idiot. You should be embarrassed. He's the face of your brand." And that's one of those things where I look at that and I didn't respond. I thought about it, but I didn't respond because like I don't think that there's a way to like convince people otherwise when they have feelings like that. But it's really a sign of insecurity. and I say that from like a heartfelt place in the sense of same thing with like the fans in Georgia Tech, and not hating on the fans in Georgia Tech at all. Like this is just sports fans in general, right? You find something like to have, and I'm sure Clemson fans do the same thing. But you have something to try to trash talk the other team, and that's fine. That's part of sports. But when we're starting to think about it from the deeper root, and that's why I want to bring this one up because this is a deeper rooted one, right? The other one's trash talk. It's whatever with the Clemson stuff. That's in some ways different. But this is like somebody having a very specific opinion about one person, just straight up calling him an idiot. And I see that coming from a place of you don't like other people being different. You don't like people being something that you feel like is abnormal, something that maybe you don't relate to. And so when you don't see something as a way that's comfortable to yourself, then maybe it feels like you need to bring them down and bring them to your level in a way. But one of the most important things for an athlete is confidence. It's confidence in who you are. And whether that's a specific style you have, whether that's a way that you play the game, if you let people's opinions that are bringing you down on stuff like that, that means nothing. Like this guy's saying that Jazz is an idiot because of the way that he dresses, because of the way that he pimps a home run, right? It's all the obvious reasons of why like people would hate on him. But those are also the reasons like I never played the game that way. That was never a way that was my personality. But that's Jazz's, and I love to see it because it's fun. Like this guy loves baseball. He loves to play baseball, and he's getting kids interested in the game that may not have ever been interested in sports in the first place, let alone baseball. And so if that's being an idiot of having fun playing the game and being completely true to who you are, embracing yourself, owning your self-expression, then hell yeah, like be an idiot. He's not doing anything to hurt the game. I think there's a difference between people that are cheating the game, between people that are rude, that are demeaning, that are doing things that are hurting others. Jazz isn't hurting anybody. That's why his teammates embrace him. That's why they've embraced him so much that his teammates are also starting to have way more self-expression on the Yankees. And I'm not saying that he's the most influential person on the team. I think the Judge, the captain, still is. But I think that having somebody that really owns who they are and unapologetically at all times is super important to be around, because that's somebody who gives other people around him confidence as well. So if you're getting comments like that as a player, especially as a kid, brush it off. Like, those are people that they don't know who they are. They don't know what their own personal self-expression is, or they're afraid to be themselves. And so I kind of look at that as like, you know what? Don't throw hate back. Like, you can either not respond at all if you don't know what to say, or respond with love in some way. Because what they're expecting is they're expecting a response, a negative response, something that makes them feel like they're being validated in some way. But originality and being different are so massively important to an athlete, to people in general. But we work in sports, and I want to emphasize that on being an athlete in the first place. So I'll stop harping on that for now. I'm sure this topic will get brought up again, but I think we'll shift gears into the Masters, and I want to have Wade introduce this year's Champions Dinner.
For those of you who don't know, the Masters, if you don't know the Masters, I can't help you there. You've been living under a rock. But what some people might not know is that every year, the winner of the Masters tournament gets to pick what's called the Champions Dinner the next year, which is where all the, I almost called them contestants, all the players come in and they all have dinner together. It's it's a nice tradition. It's a way for young players, old players to all come together and meet before they play at Heaven on Earth. Scotty Scheffler this year drew up the menu. It includes, and this is verbatim, cheeseburger sliders served Scotty style. That's what's written. Firecracker shrimp, Papa Chef's meatball and ravioli bites. Their first course is a Texas-style chili. And then the main course, they have a choice of wood-fired cowboy ribeye or blackened redfish. And for sides, you got mac and cheese, jalapeno creamed corn, soy glazed Brussels sprouts, chipotle lime roasted sweet potatoes. And then for dessert, I'm obsessed. My mouth's watering. Warm chocolate chip skillet cookie and vanilla bean ice cream, all, according to the menu, served in honor of Mr. Scotty Scheffler. I love this. Our question, and X, you can take this one. What would our Champions Dinner menu look like if we could only use food with pieces that we have?
I'd have to see the pieces that we got. We've made so many food items. You know, it'd be fun is to just make all of this food and test it out as a dinner. Okay, we've made ice cream stuff, banana stuff, cheeseburger glove. We have the taco set. We have another taco set coming out, or sliding list coming out, Cinco de Mayo. Pizza, Philly cheesesteak, bacon and eggs, waffle, gingerbread, candy corn, cotton candy. Man, so I need an appetizer. Okay,
I think you got to do an appetizer, 2 mains, and then a dessert.
This is helpful. Okay, I would do cheeseburger sliders as the appetizer. The 2 mains. We don't have a lot to choose from here. We've got, sorry Philly, but I'm lactose intolerant. I can't do the Philly cheesesteak, so we'd have to go to the taco and pizza. There are dairy-free cheeses on the pizzas. I tried dairy-free cheese on a cheesesteak and it wasn't the same.
No.
So it felt sinful in a lot of ways.
It gets the axe.
Yeah, so I just got to remove that altogether. Dessert, I think I would have to go with, I don't like cotton candy. I hate candy corn.
Gingerbread.
Oh, clutch.
You could do s'mores, yeah.
S'mores.
Cookies and cream too, yeah.
S'mores is good. I don't know, probably just chocolate ice cream. Like a good chocolate ice cream is hard to beat.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I was going to take it the other way and do like breakfast for dinner. So it's like your main is like bacon and eggs. Like have a waffle. Have like a waffle bar.
That'd be such a gangster move at the Masters.
And just way out of left field. No
Everybody's showing up for dinner and you did a full breakfast buffet.
Omelet station. Get ready. What are you doing, Olivia, for yours?
Well, I was looking at some of the former meals, and I like the ones where it's just completely different, like genres or types of food for each course. So mine would probably be, maybe I like your breakfast board idea for an app. I'm a big pizza girl, so that's the main, and then it'd have to be s'mores for dessert.
Yeah, I mean, if we were doing like different foods, oh man, it's so hard. This has got to be one of the hardest jobs in sports, is to come up with what the dinner is going to be. Did they give you like a list of items you can pick from, or is it just completely freestyle? Like, that's got to be so much pressure for like him and his wife.
I think it's completely freestyle. I'm reading through some of like the ones they've done in the past, and it truly spans all over. When Matsuyama won in 2021, his dinner in 2022 was sushi, sashimi, yakitori chicken skewers, Japanese strawberry cheesecake, A5 Wagyu beef ribeye. And then you go back a little bit and you had like Danny Willett, whose dinner in 2017 was like a traditional like British roast dinner.
Okay.
So I think you really can just do whatever you want. Scotty Scheffler has done sliders Scotty style before, but I think
Can you
that's
explain
just him.
Scotty style?
What? That I don't know if I can, honestly.
If I remember right, it was like a special sauce. It was French fries.
Right.
It was a smash burger, like slider style.
They put fries on it. And then it's like, yeah, it's all on a sesame seed bun.
Which that was a controversial take on our side. Was I would rather have fries separate to dip than on a burger, but that's just me. That feels like a waste of good fries, Scotty.
He said he gave an interview about this a while ago. He said it's as simple as cheeseburgers is my favorite food. I don't eat them now as often as I did when I was a kid, but I've got to watch a little bit more what I eat now. But Scotty style, I always put the fries on my burger, and that's what Scotty style is.
That's wild.
Good for him.
I mean, just for lunch, I put Doritos on my sandwich. So
that's clutch. That's like what you used to do at the beach as a kid. Like you put your chips on your sandwich.
Is the ravioli bites like him poking fun at that being his hand injury, or is he just a big ravioli guy?
What was his injury?
Maybe I'm wrong, but I could have sworn that's why he didn't play in a recent tournament, because he sliced his hand making ravioli at home or something like that.
What?
Never heard that. That's wild.
Scotty Scheffler will serve his dad's ravioli at Masters Champions dinner. Yes, the dish that injured his hand. ABC News had the scoop.
That's wild.
That is awesome. Yeah, he had a pasta-making induced hand injury.
All right. Well, if anybody has a good lineup of what their Masters menu would be, like throw it in the chat, on whether you're on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok.
What foods have we not made before that would be
lot.
like killer?
Sushi.
Lobster roll,
Sushi, lobster roll, yeah.
bento box.
Mm.
What else we got? There's a lot. There's a lot of foods. Thing is that we were making so many foods at the beginning that we had to hit a heavy turn on not doing just foods, because we started to become known as the food gloves. So we stopped making foods for a while, but I think we can jump back into foods now. So we wanted to start covering a little bit about, and this is like a cool conversation that I had with a former NFL player the other day. Like thinking about, because he brought up like how many counterfeits, how many knockoff brands there are, how many brands are stealing stuff. Last episode, when we did the fan Q&As, there was a bunch of questions like in a row, to where it just became kind of like, okay, like, well, let's address this and talk about it a little bit. Because being quiet definitely hasn't ever helped. And our whole goal with starting this brand initially was to bring originality to baseball. And I thought, maybe it was a wild thought, that we would inspire all these other brands to start coming up with ideas, and that everybody would have like crazy different ideas and be fun competition of who had better ideas and whatnot. And that would like kind of fulfill a little bit of my competitive drive itch. And what we ran into though was the opposite. We came in, and then like baseball brands have been doing for the last 100 years, they're just copying our stuff now instead of copying each other's stuff. And so you've got sports, you've got like apparel brands that have completely built their brand based off of copying our themes. You've got glove companies. You've got protective gear companies, ones that you've never heard of that are small, like popped up off of Temu and whatnot. And which at that point, like I was thinking, I don't want to bring attention to them by like posting about it and whatnot. But then it evolved into like Franklin making ice cream batting gloves nearly identical as far as layout and everything goes. And then the timing of it was weird to say the least, releasing them the same week with Ellie De La Cruz as our Ellie De La Cruz collection that we've been pumping up for about 4 months. And so we said something about that. But then now it's like the bigger brands like Easton. This last week came out with a ice cream batting glove, and I'm all for like doing like what is the imitation is flattery sort of thing if you're going to focus on quality first. Like if it's going to be something that is crazy high quality, the design is awesome, then hell yeah, like do it, because that's adding value to the space. But if it's just rolling out a batting glove that is just because ice cream is popular now, that's a cash grab. That's trying to do something just to take advantage of the popularity. And when brands start doing that, they kill the popularity of it, because all the excitement around it being different is now starting to dwindle and go away. And so that's where we're at now, is when I see this stuff, why not call it out? Because at the end of the day, originality is my goal. And that's why I brought up in a post this last week as well, that I don't want to just like go and crap on like all these brands that are coming in and making stuff based off of our themes or off of our designs or off of products that we released and doing it their own way. But I also want to like give shout outs to brands that are doing things the right way as well. And Victus is one of those brands, right? Like they were doing custom bats and whatnot before we were in the game with gloves. And when they rolled out the pencil bat, that was one of those things where it was the obvious choice for a brand to say, you know what, Invictus, I'm blown away that they haven't done it until now. They're rolling out pencil bat sliding mitts this year. But it was an obvious choice to make a pencil bat sliding mitt because it would sell like crazy. People want everything to match, and they didn't, but a bunch of other brands did. And you go on TikTok and TikTok shop and stuff, and it's filled with a bunch of knockoff like ice cream sliding mitts and pencil bat sliding mitts. And then there's a brand that made pencil shorts and pencil backpacks and pencil shirts and all this stuff, the same way that they built a brand off of making ice cream stuff off our ice cream gloves. And Victus has decided not to make ice cream stuff in the same way that we decided not to make pencil stuff, because that was their originality. That was their idea that they came up with. They executed on really, really well. And we want them to own that. Like, I've talked with the designer over there too, from the standpoint of like, I've actually blocked him from being able to see his stuff because I don't want to ever feel like I was inspired by seeing their stuff. And he said that he'll like check my stuff to make sure when he has an idea that it's not something that's already been done. And both of us are coming from it with the same exact respect of we're trying to be original. We don't want to do stuff that's already been done. And when you're trying to be original, when you're trying to do stuff that's never been done, the goal of that is to add value to the baseball space. And if we're just going to go see that somebody else did something and now let's go do it because there's a lot of money there, that's the cash grab. That's to take advantage of the popularity, advantage of the kids. And so I'm at the point where it's like, I'm going to start calling it out, start having these conversations, because my ultimate goal, it's not to be the biggest brand in baseball. Like, we've got bigger goals than that, but within baseball, our goal is to how can we create more popularity among youth, and how can we bring more originality that'll help grow the sport and make it popular within mainstream pop culture. But when every brand copies the thing that's popular, that's a detriment to our goal of making baseball popular in mainstream pop culture. Because just as it starts to pick up steam, if everybody's doing it, it now crushes the popularity because it's no longer unique. It's no longer different. So I love the brands that are being different. Love the brands that are being unique. Shout out like Marucci and Victus. Shout out Baseballism, same thing. They very easily could have been making knockoff stuff of all of our stuff, just like these other apparel brands are doing. but they've chosen not to as well. So it's like, coming from that perspective, go buy baseballism shirts. We're coming out with apparel too, but I love the brands that are original. Go buy baseballism shirts. If you like Marucci, go buy Marucci stuff. If you like Victus, go buy Victus stuff. Focus on the brands that are being original and adding value to the space. So I'm going to keep shouting out those brands and on both ends, hopefully to help garner some more momentum around transforming the baseball space into something that is more authentic and original. Fan Q&As, I forgot to send this out until super last minute, so we may not have a lot, but I have a default I can go to. So let's start with the first question. Oh, you guys did pretty good. All right. Golf apparel is the question. Yeah, eventually, but I don't think I can go in too deep on that one. We are getting into golf stuff, I will say. What collabs could we see in the future? There's a lot. What ones have we started to tease already? I'm trying to think. I hate teasing collabs without like things being locked in yet. Like we've already started to promote a little bit. I can say that we've rolled out the One Piece stuff. There will be more One Piece stuff. And I will say now that we're also doing a Naruto collab. So that might be the first time that we've said it. Might have said it in the last one, I don't remember. But that is an upcoming collab as well. We did go to Ireland for something last year. That is an upcoming collab. You can try to guess what that is. I won't say what that is yet. We got more Mossy Oak stuff coming out really soon. We're shooting the content, whatnot, for that currently. But the rest I want to keep under wraps until we get things a little tighter, because there's some really big collabs coming out this summer. Are you guys expanding the company or have any openings? That's cool. Yeah, we are expanding the company. We don't have openings right now, but keep an eye out, and it's always good. Like if you're looking for a job to send a resume in, is we are constantly hiring. We just went through a hiring process for the last 4 months that closed this last week for a new marketing director. So we'll be excited to announce him soon too. Who are your future planned collaborations, players or brands? I can say players. Some of those guys that we just talked about. Michael Harris, Ben Joyce, Blake Snell. Jazz has a bunch. Chandler Simpson is on the brand now. Yeah, we've got a lot of fun stuff in that sphere with the players. Next glove release. What is the next glove release? Do we know? It's the Resurrection glove.
Resurrection.
Is that Easter? Do we have those ready?
That's Easter weekend.
Wow. That's exciting.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, so the Resurrection glove is part of the Resurrection series, which is like the Resurrection sliding mitt that's white with the gold crosses and red drip. The glove for this is not. We wanted to make sure it was gameable. So its design is around the cross and part of the Easter weekend story. So there's the Resurrection, which is the white set. This is part of Easter weekend story with the cross. That'll be the next release. Really excited about that. Will you ever do catcher's gear? Someday. We're not planning to right now though. What format do you use for designing sliding mitts? It's all magic. You come up with the idea and it exists. There is no format that we use for designing sliding mitts. I want to go in a little bit on this other one just because we've got a couple minutes, right? We got time? All right. So another post that I did today from the Absolutely Ridiculous account was we had our trailer stolen. And when they stole it, it was a cool like wrap that we had on it with drip. And it had like our noodle pattern on it. And I don't know, it was a really clean aesthetic like design. We got it back. They painted it all black. So we now have a matte black spray painted trailer. The question was, if you got to design it, what would the design be? So I thought it'd be cool like to share some of the responses we got, because we've gotten hundreds and hundreds of responses. We got one that's put a baseball field design and put all the players in the MLB that use your gear in front. It could be cool. Ice cream style graffiti design would be hard. That's one thing I noticed reading through. There's a lot of graffiti like requests. Ice cream design like one of the gloves, feature a bunch of mitts on it, make it ice cream. Black icing with a white logo. Keep it the same as it was with a black background. Keep it all black, but only sell the blackout gear. That would be a flex. Easter theme. Be very specific. Graffiti, the aria and the X, bright colors would look sick. I like that. Keep it and add Ellie and Jazz and Bryce Harper on it and Blake Snell. So you guys are like wanting to see the trailer roll down the road with like the players on it. It sounds like a Miami Ice colorway, since it's the best sliding mitt. Shout out Miami Ice. Do the Miami Ice Cream colorway. Those are two different people. Put all the collabs on it. Take it to the MLB game and let people write messages on it with paint markers. That's cool. Do one with Jazz and Ellie. Graffiti. Miami Ice drip design. You should draw the X and then put all your sliding mitts and gloves and paint them tiny near ice cream. Paint all the different sliding mitts and gloves on it like a mural in kind of way. Black with a giant orange X. Graffiti. So I'm not going to read all these because there's a lot. But if you have ideas for the trailer, like throw those in here too. Colors, like what you'd want to see on it, or even like art styles. Because we're kind of starting to lean to the idea of, you know what, this is the stolen trailer now. Like maybe people want to come see the stolen trailer. Like maybe want to have some fun with this. But we want to also infuse a little bit of your ideas into it too. Now that we've got this painted trailer, it may be harder to reset it than it would be just to move forward and embrace this as part of our story. We've gone through a lot of adversity as a small brand, and from getting the first glove we released a cease and desist from Rawlings to the second glove we released a week later, getting a rejection letter from the MLB saying that Jazz couldn't wear it, to the counterfeits, knockoffs, all this sort of stuff, to our trailer being stolen. I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of stuff, but this is like, yeah, they're like downs, but it's also part of building a business the same way as athletes when they're trying to become great or going through injuries and recoveries, right? You have your highs and lows. The lows help make you better. You just need to have more highs than you have lows. But full circle, back to the trailer being stolen. Before I sign off, thank you again, Nashville. Thanks, everybody, for the support this last week. Really, really was cool seeing everybody step up and show their support, sharing it, posting. Without you guys, I don't think that we would have gotten our trailer back. So appreciate you. We'll see you at episode 5.